Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. This is your host Carmina, astrologer, card reader, coming back at you with another video in the card interpretation series, more precisely the playing card interpretation series, okay? Because we look at each and every one of the playing cards of the simple yet complex 52 playing card deck, and we derive meanings from this card. And as a support for our videos, we'll be using the card deck that I designed, Carmina's Cards of Truth deck. This is the back, this is the front of the card that we're going to be discussing today, and that's the Seven of Diamonds. So before we get to it, I'm just going to let you know, if you like these cards, I printed them out. There's a limited number remaining, and I don't know when I'm gonna print more again, so you'd better order your deck soon. So, the Seven of Diamonds. When we look at this card, what do we notice at first? We notice the color. Okay, it's a red suit on a white background. And that shows the red suits, they show a more feminine, a more receptive, a more yin type of energy. And that's characteristic of the diamond and of the heart suits. While the heart suits are more preoccupied with the emotions, with family, with compassion, with feeling, because they are connected to the water element, the diamond suit is really connected to the earth element, and the diamond suit is really wanting to do concrete things, but also to have concrete things. And it can be said that it's more preoccupied with the concrete manifestation of life, may it be land, earth, minerals, gems, money, whatever is of worth and whatever it is valuable in the time frame. But land is something that will always be valuable, so that's like an eternal worth that the diamonds have. So you can think about that as the suit that's related to worth, that's related to concrete material things. And also you see when you, it's also related to kind of like physical attraction. It's like having, it's really like a passionate for wanting like something. It's not, it's in a different way than the heart suit, when it's more like feeling, watery, emotional. This is like, you know, wanting something and having it and owning it. So what else do we notice when we see this card? If the cards were like this, you would see a symmetry, okay? So 3 and 3, 6. But here we have something extra. It's an odd card. It's a deviation from symmetry, we can say. So it's a moment where something tense happens. Because in the even cards, we see some harmony, but in the odd cards, it's like, oh, there's something extra here. There's like a free agent. And with the case of Seven of Diamonds, it's pretty much the same thing. So while at the Six of Diamonds, we had, okay, success, we had validation from the world on a material level, we were having your accomplishment, you had satisfaction with your worth, and also with, you know, owning things and being confident in the concrete things, about the concrete things in your life. At the Seven of Diamonds, there is a little break from that. That's why the Seven of Diamonds is connected to the Death card in Tarot. All the red sevens, meaning the Seven of Hearts and the Seven of Diamonds, are connected to the Death card. Because it's the end of the cycle, it's the breakdown of something. It's like you had your success at the 6 and now at the 7, things are not working out anymore. You have to let go of something in order to evolve, because nothing is a punishment. It's just something for us to evolve, okay? So the number 7, of course, it's a very loaded number in culture and civilization in general. We talk about 7 days of the week. That's a cycle, right? We talk about the 7 deadly sins, and a lot of cultures and civilizations hold this number 7 very near and dear to them. So it's like the end of the cycle. The one, the ace, which is evoking the power of the sun, is the initiative, it's the beginning, it's the fresh start, while the 7 is kind of the end of something. It's where you realize you have to let go, you have to move on. So at the 7 of diamonds, we realize, okay, some things are not working anymore, possibly on a financial level, because the diamond suit is connected to finances. Maybe things are not working well with your land, because that's also something diamonds are connected to. Maybe things are not working with the minerals in your body, if it's like a medical reading, because diamonds are also minerals. So yeah, it's a breakdown. It's a need to realize that you have to let go of something that's no longer working, and that's always painful, because of course the 7 is connected to the Saturn energy, and that energy is us realizing we have to part ways with something, we have to eliminate something, because Saturn rules elimination in our bodies. But it's not to punish us, it's just to help us evolve towards the higher stages, right? Towards the 8s and the 9s, which are friendship with yourself, and then friendship with the world, friendship with the divine in general. Yeah, so at the 7, it's like a threshold, it's like a limit. It's like, okay, are you gonna stay here and victimize yourself, which is the lower manifestation of the 7 of diamonds, or are you gonna just let go of what's not working and just keep trying? That's the higher manifestation of the 7 of diamonds. And no wonder that the 7 of diamonds is called the millionaire card, because at the 7 you try a lot of things. Most of them are not working, and like very few of them will be working, and probably they're not your top choices of things you wanted to do, but you just have to move on with what you have and with what is working. Okay, so that's like the higher manifestation, the ideal understanding of this 7 of diamonds. We also need to remember that in the card system, the 7 of diamonds is a semi-fixed card. What that means is that it's in an interchange with the 9 of hearts. So the underlying and overlying card for the 7 of diamonds is the 9 of hearts. And that's also, the 9 of hearts is also a card that shows an ending. It's a more, so that's what makes it a more, definitive card than probably the other 7s, because it's interchanged with the 9 of hearts, where it's like, okay, you have to surrender to divine love. But in order to surrender to that, it's pretty painful, because you have to accept the cruel things, the ugly things, the violent things that you don't like. So it's just, a surrender is never easy. So that's what it makes this card more powerful and more potent, okay? And yeah, these are some of the meanings you can get with the 7 of diamonds. I've seen it a lot of times when people move away, they leave their land, they get like a 7 of diamonds. It's like a break up with something. Yeah, so the 7 is like breaking up, like destruction of something, elimination of something. So I often see it like when people have to move and have to break up with the land they are really invested in. And I also see it with a lot of expenses, but it can be resourceful if you just step away from feeling victimized and thinking like, why do I have to give that up, and just roll with it and try other things, try many other different things. This can also be like a death card, like a difficult card, but it doesn't have to be. So just don't jump into predicting death for people, okay? Just be very cautious with that. Only like after like super long practice, and if it's like really there. if you really see it and if it's like really truthful. Otherwise, if you're just like beginning and you see like a 7 of diamonds, just don't predict death, okay? Just predict like a breakdown, maybe a breakdown in the mineral, maybe a breakdown in the bone or something like that, but just use it wisely. Yes, so now that we know the meanings that we encounter in card spreads, now let's look at the 7 of diamonds as a birth card. I'm just going to share my screen with you guys. Just 1 second here. Okay. Yeah, there are so many days in the year that are 7 of diamonds, so you don't have to worry about getting one of these. Let's see. Yes. So this is what I'm going to share right now. It's the cards of truth year spread, and this is available to download for free. I'm just going to post the link down below. And you can see here that we have this on the 20th of January. It's a 7 of diamonds day. On the 18th of February, 16th of March, April 14, May 12th, June 10th, July 8th, August 6th, and September 4th, and October 2nd, and that's it. So we have a lot of 7 of diamonds day in the year, a lot of time for us to practice this letting go of victimization on a worth or on a financial level. What else we are going to do now? We are just going to share the 7 of diamonds screen. Yeah, so you can see here the 7 of diamonds screen. It's not going to be the same for everyone who's born on a 7 of diamonds day. And let me quickly remind you that I use this system with the birth time after sunrise in your place of birth. If you are born before sunrise at your place of birth, then you're not a 7 of diamonds. You are the card that goes before that. Usually it's an 8 of diamonds, but it can also be something else. So check out the day before if you are born before sunrise. So we are going to focus more on the cards because you can also see we have planets here, but that will be different depending on your date, place, and time of birth, okay? So we're going to focus more on the cards themselves. People who are born with a 7 as a birth card, in general, they will have a lot of ups and downs. And the 7 of diamonds are not an exception. But because if they choose to invest their effort wisely, because the 7, as I said, is the echo, it's the manifestation of Saturn. And Saturn thrives when it works very wisely, when it works only when it's necessary to work and not when it's stressed and wastes its effort uselessly, okay? So the 7 of diamonds can be very thriving and successful when they learn to let go of what is not working and just invest their efforts simply and constructively and not overwork themselves, of course. And yeah, and as a diamond, they are of course born with the sense that they have something of value to bring to the world. We see that their path is the 2 of diamonds. So another diamond card, they're on the path of connecting to something of value. be that a land, be that a concrete skill, or a job that offers them financial comfort. So that's in their path. Or a lot of Two of Diamonds people will be in their path to teach them to make their path more strong. And it's also interesting, they have the third diamond card. They have the Six of Diamonds here in the Pluto position. So that's pretty difficult, because when they feel successful, when they work very hard for this financial success and comfort, but that kind of gets shattered. They get into circumstances that, you know, they work so hard, they invest so much in the Six of Diamonds in financial success, but then something happens, something internal happens, and they realize, okay, maybe that's not really what I wanted. This, I don't want to be stuck here, like with this financial success. But the Pluto card is always good, because it shows the person that, okay, you need to let go of this in order to move on, in order to be more advanced, in order to be more developed, to be like a 7, which is a further stage from the 6. It's a stage of elimination and of sacrificing and letting go of what's not necessary. And we also see that they have a King of Diamonds there on the Saturn card. So that can show that how they react in, troubles that are kind of chronicle, that take a long time to develop. And they react on it by being like the King of Diamonds, so like being generous, or being very successful with their finances. Or because it's on the Saturn position, it can show that they are in service to a person like that, like a King of Diamonds birth card, or somebody who has a King of Diamonds with their self factors, with their ascendant, with their self planet, or somebody in general who's like a King of Diamonds, like somebody who's high up there with their finances, with their success, or somebody who's like very charitable and generous, because the King of Diamonds can also be that. Yeah, so they have 4 diamonds in this spread. What do they have? Let's see there. Sun card is the 5 of Spades. So that's the kingdom they're building. It's a pretty tense kingdom. It's a pretty difficult kingdom, because the 5s are always change. And the 5 of Spades is like the change in the body, and on a psychological level, it's a change that's very personal, and it's very intimate, and it's very difficult. It feels painful almost, okay? But that's the kingdom they are building. The 5 of Spades can also relate to, you know, your body going through changes, like doing some diets, doing some fasting, doing rehab, changes to improve on your body and on your psychology. The Moon card is a very nice card. It's a Jack of Hearts. Of course, it depends what planets are there. In this particular spread, I see the Moon and the North Node. So the North Node is making it a little difficult to achieve. Normally, that Jack of Hearts card is really nice, because it's a fixed card, and it's a card that brings change in the feeling. It brings a long-term change, and it's also a card that can be an inspiration for other people. So because it's the Moon card, it also shows their early environment. So, you know, their early environment was marked by a person who was very pursuing very much their passions, and who was, very admired by other people. You can also interpret it like that. And that's also how they adapt to life. They adapt to life by going from one passion to the next, and kind of inspiring other people through that. And then we have the 9 of Clubs on the Mars card. That's a bit difficult, because the 8s and the 9s are a little difficult to access. You have to get past the gate of 7. So yeah, I guess in the first part of their life, at least until their nodes mature, it's going to be a bit more difficult for them, because the Mars card is how you handle crisis situations, how you assert your will, Of course, it also depends where Mars the planet is. In this particular spread, we see Mars the planet in blue here in the Venus card. So here it's helped because the face cards are strong everywhere, usually. But here there's like, okay, what do you have to do in a crisis situation? You kind of have to let go of the belief that your idea is the best idea. You kind of have to surrender that all the ideas are good and they all have their worth, okay? It's like a divine friendship with ideas, with their inspiration. It's also, you know, this Nine of Clubs is the card of contract. So, okay, you have to make contracts. How do you solve your crisis situations? By doing contracts in a way or another. The cusps are also important. Here you see the third and the eighth cusp. So in this particular chart, it refers to like technical things and also shared resources, which are the eighth cusps. We have another nine after that, the Nine of Spades on the Mercury card, and this is how they communicate, how their friends are, how they manage their lives, and this is a pretty loner card. Yeah, so their communication is like, okay, I have to do this, I have to manage this situation because it's just what I have to do, and it's not that I like it or not, but I have to do it just because I kind of like I have to. The Nine of Spades is the so-called Hermit card in tarot, and it's also the so-called Karma Yogi card. So it's like you are just doing your work as a service to the world or the divine or whatever it is, like a higher power. You just do it because you have to, not necessarily because you want to or you like to. Yeah, so that's like surrendering to your work. So spades are always difficult, and here in communication it's like, yeah, I'm gonna say that, I'm gonna manage that situation because I have to. Like, that's the attitude you have to have. And ideally, in order not to be frustrated with the things that you have to do as a Seven of Diamonds person. Then we have a Two of Hearts on the Jupiter card. That's not really easy because it shows some difficulty. It shows some missed opportunities in connecting to something and to people emotionally. It shows some difficulties with intimacy. Of course, if Jupiter is well placed, it will help. For instance, here you have it, you know, in its own sign, helping. And in this case, especially it relates to relationships with other people, to partnerships, because the seventh cusp is here. But of course, it depends where the seventh cusp is in your placement to see if, you know, if it applies for you for relationships. But in general, there will be a difficulty in connecting emotionally. The Venus card is a King of Hearts. So what they like, if they are attracted to people who are very generous, who are very loving, who are very giving. So that's really nice. That's a really nice Venus card. The Kings are also cards that are, you know, it's the last card. So it also shows an element of sacrifice and letting go. But if you are you know, in a relationship with a King of Hearts, that's good because it means they will sacrifice for you. So for these Seven of Diamonds people, they are attracted to people that, you know, that are more emotionally mature. Of course, it's also important what cards are in the King of Hearts, if it's somehow spoiled, and also where the Venus is, where the planet Venus is. Here it's with Saturn, Pluto in the South Node, so not so easy. That's some difficulty in the relationship. So you have to look at things holistically. Don't just get fixated on one card, one cusp. Just look at things holistically. Yeah, we already talked about this King of Diamonds here. We also have the North Node, the Seven of Hearts. So what they need to develop and they don't know how to develop and they'll have a hard time is emotional satisfaction, is committed relationships, like happiness from relationships, happiness with family in the world. That's something that's under development for them. And what they tend to fall back on is the Four of Clubs, their K2 card. That's something they really invested a lot in past lives, and it's being inspired, doing amazing things, not really amazing, but being kind of established with your inspiration, being secure with things, just like also like being in a place, like in a home that you are inspired to live in. So it's a pretty nice K2 card they have there. The Uranus card, that's a Jack. So Uranus and Jacks are synergistic because the Jacks are connected to this Uranian energy, so it's a nice thing to have there. The Jack of Spades, of course, is the most difficult of all the Jacks. It's a lot of hard work, it's a lot of risk taking. So that's how they contribute to the collective, by taking some risks. It's the Soldier, the Orphan card. The Neptune card is another fixed card. It's the Eight of Clubs, and it's a pretty mystical card. This is the card of self-validation with your ideas, and because it's on the Neptune, it's also how you bond to the world on a deeper level. So yeah, they can be very spiritual people. Yeah, they can become very spiritual, and because it's a fixed card, every year their Neptune card is going to be the Eight of Clubs. So they can work on it for all of their life, on their self-sufficiency. So yeah, we already talked about this nice Six of Diamonds Pluto card. It's very painful when you have like an even card for Pluto, because you're in that good situation and then you're like, do I really want that? Yeah. Okay, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video on the Seven of Diamonds. There are plenty of videos on the cards of truth. You can also check out the older ones. Maybe I say some things there that I left out here. So yeah, you can find them in playlist. You can find my website, carmina-amza.com. And if you want to buy this card deck, you'll find the link below. If you want card readings and card classes, you'll also find that about that in the description box. So I'll see you soon, guys, with the Eight of Diamonds and more astrology, human design card videos. Talk to you soon. Bye.